Hi, I'm James Vowles. I'm the Motorsport Strategy Director for the team, and I'm here to answer your questions about the Russian Grand Prix. Maybe one of the biggest talking points was why we were on the medium tyre and everyone else in the top 10 was on that soft tyre. We considered both options. The difficulty with this soft tyre is if we were behind Ferraris on the leading laps of the race as we went into turn 2, we would really struggle to beat them. The only opportunity would have been an undercut in the race, and even then we knew that they would be very quick. The medium, on the other hand, had a weakness. It would be slightly worse off the line, but it provided many more opportunities in the race. Still possible to undercut, but this time going to the soft tyre or the hard if the soft is degrading too much. More so, that medium allowed you to close into the Ferraris on that first stint. The soft will run out of life before the medium, and that's exactly what you saw in the race. After a certain number of laps, we became quicker and quicker, and Ferrari had to react and bring their cars in one by one. And that's the strength that that tyre provided. It provided more opportunity. Now we were fighting Ferrari on our terms, not their terms. Safety cars are prevalent in Sochi. There are a number of them that have happened year on year, but they're mostly towards the beginning of the race. However, irrespective, what that medium tyre allows you to do is to maximise your stint against the Ferraris. Once you've forced them to pit, you can then stretch your stint out almost to the end of the race if you need to, in the hope a VSC or safety car falls your way, exactly as it did on Sunday. Going into the race, we expected that soft tyre to be a little bit more fragile than it was. In reality, the degradation was very low on both the soft and the medium, and that reduced the number of opportunities that we had. Had the soft degraded a lot more like Friday, we would have had plenty more to play with. It would have meant around about lap 15 or so, that soft tyre from the Ferraris would have started to fail a bit more and would have come back towards us, and they'd have to stop earlier, creating more of an offset. It didn't. So once they were able to go a fair amount into the stint, now we were reliant on the soft tyre transforming our car and making it work better. But even so, we would have been behind Ferraris. Had there been a late safety car and all the cars bunched together, that fresh soft may well have provided the difference. Whilst we didn't have necessarily the track position on them, if we were tucked up behind them, I think that tyre would have restarted very well. Indeed, one of the reasons why Leclerc stopped and fitted that soft tyre instead of staying on that medium was he had concerns about how it would restart. The reality was, though, I think it would have been incredibly tough to take points off Ferrari in a straight fight without a VSC or safety car. I think we would have finished third and fourth, and Ferrari would have won that race. After Leclerc stopped and fitted that soft tyre, so now it is Mercedes, Leclerc on the soft. At the restart, it was clear we were going to be in a certain amount of pressure and trouble from the Ferrari. They're extremely quick in a straight line, and especially on the run down to turn 2. And with the DRS that opened several laps after the safety car, we thought it would be incredibly difficult to hold on to that position to the end of the race. Valtteri didn't make a single mistake. He didn't lock the brakes going into turn 2. He defended in every corner as he needed to. More so, he was continuously going up and down on the energy systems in order to maximise his speed down into turn 2, and he did it perfectly. Leclerc backed off several times, you would have seen that, just to cool the tyres down and have another opportunity, build his battery back up and attack again. And every time he did, Valtteri responded with the same switches on his side, dogfighting his way to the end of the race, and did a perfect job. There was a question over how we set the fastest lap of the race on the medium tyre with Lewis. The reality was it was a soft tyre, but irrespective, the question's a very good one. In Sochi, the degradation was very, very low on both soft and the medium compound. You were still wearing the tyre, and there was still a little bit of drop-off, more so perhaps with the Ferraris on that first stint because they were pushing incredibly hard. But towards the end of the race, Lewis still had plenty of rubber left in that tyre. Valtteri had done such a good job defending to Leclerc behind that Lewis was able to look after those tyres and keep them in a very, very good state. And towards the end of the race, as he required all the pace from the car and the engine to do his times, the tyres were in such a good state that he was able to deliver quite a competitive fastest lap as a result. The FIA are responsible for deploying either the VSC or the safety car. When they do that, it triggers a number of systems for the teams and for the drivers automatically. At the point they decide the VSC should be deployed to neutralise the race and make it safe for either marshals on track or a driver, the car receives a message to let it know that it's in VSC conditions, and the teams receive messages as well for their strategy systems and marshalling systems to let us know that we're in a VSC. The car data also shows the same thing. For the driver, we program, as do other teams, a dash to show them the key information. And the main points of this, they need to slow down immediately. So the dash allows them to understand how fast they're going and how they are relative to a reference lap that's been provided to us by the FIA. And that reference lap is different track on track, and it's what you have to follow in order to get around the track. And it's about 20–30% slower than a normal lap would be. At some circuits, for example in Baku, when you've got the really long straight, they'll even bring the straight line speed down quite a bit and cap it at one speed to make sure that it's safe through that area as well. Clearly it doesn't make sense just dropping 20% off if you're already doing 300 kilometers an hour. The drivers then follow that and they get a number, positive or minus in terms of time, that allows them to see how they're doing relative to that. And their job is to try and stay as close to zero as they possibly can. It's cumulative, so even if you go a bit over, you can still use that up on the next lap. But the reality is they have what's called a marshalling sector or two to get themselves positive into a safe place in the delta time. And that's exactly what they're doing. And they're doing that unaided from us. They are trained how to do that on a simulator, and they've done that enough times in racing. From there, it's about how we strategically optimize our stop. Do we want to come in? Do we want to gain from a pit stop as a result of that VSC being on track? And that falls down to us. And the driver simply follows his delta time up until he gets to the safety car line. Once he's past that, he's then free to go into the pit entry as he normally would do. Thank you very much for all of your questions. It's been a pleasure, as always, answering them. And we look forward to answering your questions again after the Japanese Grand Prix.